Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about 5 things that you can do with a router tool just like this one right here. And I'll also be telling you that everyone needs something like this. Whether you are a do-it-yourselfer just like myself or a professional woodworker, you can use one of these tools, a router tool. They're awesome. Let's get right into the video tutorial. It's not exactly a tutorial, it's more of an explanation, but there are some tutorial aspects of this as well. Let's get right into it. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, so bear with me. Number 1 is you can mortise door hinges. So what I have here is a door hinge. If you want to mortise a door hinge, you just got to place it on the side of the door. You trace it in place, okay? You get your router bit to the right depth. You get the correct bit in place. You turn your router on, and you can just route out the door hinge. And yeah, you basically want to make sure, as an added tip, that your router bit is extracted from the base the same depth as the door hinge itself. So the same thickness that the door hinge is, that's how far your router bit should be sticking out. And from the base over here, and make sure that you have a good router bit installed, a good cutting bit. Any basic cutting bit will do, but make sure you have a good one installed and you'll be in a better position. So number 1, you can mortise out door hinges easily, strike plates, anything of that nature. Number 2, you can round over edges. You can get other bits for your router tool, just like this. Sorry, I just dropped that one. These are actually 2 round over bits. You can see what they look like. And essentially, they just make their way along here, and they have a cutting blade that creates a rounded edge. Now, on this 2x4, you can see it's already rounded, but you can get different levels, different degrees of roundness. So you can make it less round than this, or more rounded off than this right here. You can easily do, you just basically put the bit in place, and you just work your way around very, very simply. Yeah, and you can even round off corners if you do all of the edges that connect with the corner. So if I wanted to round off this corner right here, I would do this edge, I would round off this edge, I would round off this edge, and I would round off this edge right here. The 3 edges that connect to the corner, if you round them off, you should round off the corner itself. Okay, number 3, you can trace something. So let's say I wanted to trace this tile by creating an indent on the wood. So I would place the tile in place. You want to make sure that it's securely in place. So if it's something that you can put a screw into, you want to screw directly through it, glue it in place temporarily, stick it down, whatever you can do. And then you would essentially take your router bit and you would extract it so that when the plate sits on the tile, your router bit would be touching the wood. So right now I would take this router bit and I would extract it out further, okay? So I would extract it out further like this, and I would continue extracting it out further until basically once the router bit is extracted far enough, that it would, when the plate sits on the thing you want to trace, the bit will be touching the wood. So I'm having difficulty here. I do apologize. There we go. I think I hit a little bit of a stuck piece right over there, or this is probably too tight. But I would continue extracting it. There we go. I had to lift it out of place. I would continue extracting it, okay, making it pop out further until it is beyond the thickness of whatever it is that I want to trace. So I'm going to just cut this out now. Let's say that when I placed the base plate on the tile now, the router bit would touch the wood, barely touch the wood. I would then just be able to go around the thing I want to trace. When the router's turned on, I could then go with the bit around here, okay? And that would cut into the wood as an outline right here, right? So you could trace something into the wood. The 4th thing, because that was the 3rd thing, and I'll go over them at the end as a recap. The 4th thing, I'm at about a minute each right now, so I'm keeping up to my pace that I wanted to keep up to throughout this awesome video. And by the way, give this video a thumbs up if you appreciate videos like this, okay? The 4th thing that you can do with the router tool is you can make design inlays on wood. So let's say I wanted to make a design inlay. I could draw out the design first. So I could draw something like this with a pencil, and then I could take my router bit and I could literally go with the router bit and I could follow the design that I drew, and I could create an inlay. This is how they create those inlays on cutting boards. I'm sure you've seen on a cutting board, they have like a little channel on the outside sometimes for like the juices to sit in, and essentially that's how they create things like that, okay? Just with a very specific type of router bit, okay? You need one that's sort of rounded off that you can create an inlay with. Lastly but not least, number 5 is you can create plunge holes in wood. Now, with something like this, Sorry about that. I should have had some water before I started filming this. It's kind of dusty in here because I was using the router to cut some stuff out for other videos. But with something like this, it would be very hard to make a plunge cut with this because it is not a plunge router. You want to use a specific plunge router, okay? So a plunge router is one that essentially you hold it in place and then the bit plunges in, right? With this one, you don't want to do a plunge cut with this because you're not holding it in place. You would be plunging in and you don't want to do that. You want to get a plunge router and you can use that to make clean drill bit holes in wood of various sizes and various types of shapes. So just to recap, number one, you can mortise door hinges, strike plates, stuff like that. Number two, you can round over edges. Number three, you can trace something like I showed you there. Number four, you can make a design inlay like I showed you right there on the wood, on the inside of the wood or the outside for that matter. And lastly but not least, number five, you can make plunge holes in wood using a plunge style router. And that's it. Those are 5 things that you can do with the router tool. And honestly, everyone needs one. They're just awesome. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.